Yeah, I know. I spent 4 years in Mexico City as the regional director in the U.S. Drug Enforcement. Had offices in Panama, worked with Noriega in Argentina, Bogota. So at least I know where Mexico is. I spent 4 years as head of the DEA in Texas, cover that border. Another assignment, 4 years in Arizona as head of the DEA, cover that border. So I got 14 years experience at the U.S.-Mexican border. I don't know why anybody doesn't ask my advice, especially U.S. senators and the media or Obama. I mean, I remember he brought the Cambridge police sergeant and locked up the professor, became a racial profile, and he invited both of them to the White House, had some beer. Since I'm accused of racial profiling every night, why does he invite me to we'll have wine. My mother and father came from Italy, so I drink the wine, right, Frank? Instead of inviting me, they investigate me. It took 60 days in the Obama administration to launch the attack on this sheriff, Department of Justice, for alleged racial profile. Well, it's been a year and a half. They're roaming around. I haven't heard anything. We don't racial profile. In fact, I'm from Springfield, Mass. I'd be glad to flip a few hoops with the president, since he's a big basketball fan. But I just bring that up because Washington, D.C., they never asked my advice. They bring chiefs of police to meet the Attorney General. Most of them don't like the 1070. All of them don't. Why didn't he invite me down there? I'm the sheriff. I'm elected. I'm not appointed. I'm not a bureaucrat like police chiefs are. Why not invite the sheriff? But we know why. Actually, I'm pretty proud. Every cabinet member had to, first 100 days in office, had to submit what their major priority and accomplishments was. That was the Justice Department. That was me. That they opened up an investigation. We got economic problems. We're fighting wars. Why is this little sheriff the poster boy? So I have a little worry here on this 1070. I just said we are the only agency that enforced those laws that these two gentlemen worked hard to pass. Why isn't everybody else doing it? Where are all the other police chiefs and sheriffs? So what's going to happen in this 1070? Is it going to be on the books? Got some people elected? Or is it going to be enforced? I know I'm going to enforce it 100%. No doubt about that. So let's make sure when this law takes effect, it's enforced. Of course, they have a little part of that law that any citizen can sue any person or as a government official, police chief, if they don't enforce it, if they have a policy not to enforce it. Well, let's see if that is ever enforced. I'm not trying to be negative here, but I gave you two examples already on two great state laws. We just did the Sizzler Steakhouse in McDonald's. We go in there and 75% of the workers have phony identification, your ID, Social Security. So we lock them up. It's a serious felony. It's really interesting. I'm still the bad guy. You locked up illegals just trying to work. That may be true, but they shouldn't have other people's identification. In fact, the president ought to send me an award. Because every time we drag people out that are here illegally, we're opening up vacancies for U.S. citizens. He's talking about unemployment. So I think I'm doing something about the unemployment situation. Complex, problem, this illegal immigration. I'm not going to get into other things because, you know, all at once for the last 3 years, illegal immigration. Sure, if you do this so you can get reelected. I can get reelected on pink underwear. I sure don't need this problem. Which I love you guys. You know why? I believe in the people. My secret in being reelected isn't the politicians. I don't get endorsements. It's the people. They're the silent majority, and you're making people squirm, especially some politicians. So you're very critical, very critical. And I want to thank you for being here, having an interest in our country and our governments. Very critical. I was just, I'm kind of in a daze here. Am I doing okay talking? I haven't been to bed in about 3. I was out in 130 degrees yesterday in Gila Bend. You know where that is? You go by there when you go? Gila Bend. So I was doing another crime suppression operation. At least I didn't raid Phoenix this time. I went way out in the boondocks. Actually, I brought my weapon. You see, 7 years ago, I bought a 50 caliber machine gun. 7 years ago. I took a lot of criticism. Why do you need a machine gun, Sheriff, when I have my little press thing in front of the tents? Wait a minute, I just formed a anti-terrorist group. We just had the situation in New York. I wanted to be ready. I did make a mistake. I said I'm going to shoot an airplane down, but I took a lot of heat on that. But I said it wasn't American Airlines. I'm talking about light aircraft. People forget terrorists train here, flew into the Pentagon. Everybody forgot that. A light airplane. We're responsible for the lakes and the dams and Palo Verde, even the baseball stadium. We're responsible for that. LAPD, they had the bank robbery. They had to break into a gun shop to get enough firepower to kill the robbers. A Glock isn't going to do that. They had to hijack the armored car in San Diego. You think a Glock is going to shoot the 50 caliber? I think he'll take care of business. So I sent it out there yesterday. I'm tired of all the threats on our deputies, and that's a dangerous corridor that we went out for people bringing drugs in, violence. So I was just ready with the gun. Take some heat on that. It's only common sense. You got to outgun the dope peddlers and the human smugglers. I'm not going to have my deputies shot. So I'm sure the word got out to Mexico that the sheriff has his weapon, and everybody's probably going to say, why don't we do it at the border? Why don't we arm the National Guard? Instead of giving them cleaning fluid or to wash the cars, give them the guns. I don't believe in the military with the tanks at the border. In fact, I don't even know about the fence, John, you're talking about. And I spent 14 years at that border. I think I know what I'm talking about. And Janet Napolitano stole my soundbite. I'm the one that said, open up a hardware store, and they'll buy the fences. Not the fences, the ladders. And they'll get the ladder and go over the fence. Or the shovel to go underneath the fence. They're always going to find a way to get across that border. I don't care what you put up. But the only way I'm going to go for the fence, I want someone to tell me, when you do buy the ladder and you do go over, I want to know what happens to them. Have you heard anybody say, we're going to lock them up, throw them in jail? Or are they going to just send them back, get a taller ladder? I want someone to tell me when they go over that fence, what will happen to them. I haven't heard it. The Mexican president, he and the United States government agrees. Think of this. They agree that if we didn't have the users, the drug users, there'll be no dope peddlers in Mexico. and there won't be any violence. They may have a point. We agree with that. Yet the president of Mexico, the best kept secret in my 50 years of law enforcement, legalized the use of drugs right after they had their summit meeting. Now you can go to Mexico and shoot up heroin and cocaine and meth and everything else. So if the president of Mexico is worried about the drug use in the United States, blaming us, why did he legalize the use of drugs in Mexico? Think of that. And then you got the president, the secretary of state saying all the guns are going into Mexico, and if it wasn't for that, they wouldn't be killing everybody. And we say that, but that's not true. It's not all our guns. They get guns from everywhere. So once again, we're blaming ourselves for what they're doing in Mexico. And that's not right. That's not right. Mexico should take care of their own problems and not worry about Arizona's problems or the United States. And we should start worrying more about our problems than the Mexican problem. This is all upside down, twisted. I don't know what's going on. We do know what's going on. And I'm so tired. First of all, doctor, what is this cartel? I mean, I had to look in the dictionary. When I was a federal agent in Chicago, we used to go after the mafia. Now you can't say mafia anymore, so it became the crime syndicate. Then organized crime. Now it's the cartel. I don't know who, just like transparency. I never heard that word before. Everybody, we got to be transparent. We got to be transparent. Nobody used that word. Somebody in the White House, a janitor, read the word transparency. Now it's boots on the ground. Oh, everybody, we need more boots on the ground. They come up with these cliches. We got to secure the border. That little boy over there and the little girl knows that we should secure the border. Everybody knows that, right? You have to secure the border. Or the drugs. Everything's drugs. I'm going to have to, I don't know if you're going to disagree with me. We're number 2 capital of the kidnapped capital of the world next to Mexico City. Phoenix is. Wait a minute. Drugs. It isn't drugs. It's illegal immigration. That's where the statistics are. The drop houses, kidnapping the coyotes kidnap the people that are brought here, and they pay the coyote and hold them, ransom, and threaten them. It's the illegal immigration. Why do we keep saying drugs? Because everybody hates drugs. It's easy to blame drugs and minimize this illegal immigration problem. It's easy to say, secure the border. I want someone to say, secure the United States, secure the streets, and lock them up in the interior of this country, and keep saying it's the border. It is a violation of law to come into this country. And why aren't we concentrating in the interior and arresting these people? These police chiefs. I'm so tired of hearing their cop-out. Well, nobody will talk to us in the Hispanic community. We don't have the resources. They sure have the resources to go after hookers and DUIs and seatbelt violations, but they don't have the resources to go after illegal immigrants. So it's all the game, amnesty. The bottom line is amnesty. That's what it's all about. We got to fight that. And I'm going to tell you something. You can talk about economy and the law. I have a different perspective. Very strange, since I'm a senior citizen. I won't tell you my age. You know Frank. Frank, your mother and father, I don't want to ask this, I might be racial profiling, but did your mother and father come from Italy?
No.
Well, your grandfather?
No.
I thought you were Italian.
Sicily.
Oh, Sicily. But anyway. but let me just My mother and father came from Italy, legally. We got people around the world, millions, that want to come into this country. They have to wait for years and years and years, and cost them money to try to get to the United States of America. Yet we got these illegals that come across the Rio Grande or every other way. They come here illegally, they pay to get here illegally, and we're going to make them U.S. citizens. Then I say if you're going to do that, you make the whole world U.S. citizens then. It's a fairness issue too. Fairness. So if they want to be U.S. citizens, okay, go back to where they came from and come through the right way. I have no problem. Visas, you want to work for whatever you want, let them come in legally. So that's my philosophy. And as the chief law enforcement officer for this county, elected by you and serve you, you're my bosses, I'm going to keep doing the job. I was in the tents this morning. 130, wait a minute. I had Telemundo, National, International following me around. They don't like me. I had the Swiss TV, good balance, Swiss, and they were both in the tents together with me. I killed two birds with one stone. I had my thermometer. I always use a thermometer now, so the TV doesn't believe I'm lying. Now, it was only 10 o'clock in the morning. I shoved that thing up there. Actually, when you get higher up in the canvas, it gets a little hotter. So I had it way up there. It's 145 degrees, and it was 10 o'clock. How dare you? This is awful, awful. Then I say our men and women are fighting for our country living in tents, so shut your mouth, and that's the way it's going to be. So next, we got Fox here, they won't care. And next week, I'm going to celebrate our 17th anniversary of the tents. But I'm also, at the same time, because the media won't show up anymore, I do it every year, they get tired of showing up, but they may show up this time. I've already have a few tents separated for the people if they are arrested, the 1070. So I already have room. There better never be a police chief. Never be a police chief to say the sheriff has no room. That's why we can't book him into the jail. I will always have room. Always have room. So it was a little hot there, but it is the summertime. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank you for your inviting me. I had a long way to go. I can see my house up there. Oh, by the way, I had a great present today. They call me every name in the book. They even call me Mussolini. They spelled it wrong. They can't even get the name spelled right. And they call me Hitler. They're in front of my building every day for a year and a half, all these demonstrators. You were bragging about yours. I have 10,000 that follow me, Russell, led by Reverend Sharpton and the singer from Tucson. But I'm driving by. I see my big portrait up on a building, 222 East Roosevelt. Actually, that was the mayor's former campaign headquarters. But I see my big picture. They got the swastika. They got me with this. They got me shooting on the terrorists. Nobody cares about that. If that was the president or someone else, it'd be all over the media. But this happens every day, this big picture of me. But that's all right. I can take it. I can take it. It doesn't bother me at all. Because you know what? Russell and John know this. It's only a small group of people that are angry and that do certain things. They don't like to enforce the law. But we're all politicians, right? You are too. John's running for office, by the way. Right, John? What are you running for? Senate?
No, I'm staying in the House.
He wants to stay in the House. Russell, you're running too, right? But you have no problem. Nobody's going to run against you. So I support these guys. But it's great to have the political system so you can make your decision who you want to lead you. So thank you. And if anybody would like to take a tour of the tents, Be glad. Make sure it's in the winter and not the summer. You got a question?
I moved the housing plan, and I want something done about it with the banks.
Yeah.
I have other plans, but I don't want to do anything with them until my housing plan's handled properly.
Yeah, I know she
I left my number with.
yeah, you grabbed me in a hallway when I was on the phone.
Yes.
But you talked to my deputy. We'll try to help you on that. Is that it? Anybody else? Hey, thanks for coming, and thank you, CT. And,